Let you all open all your three eyes.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilakshయం Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is spa manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself explaining what is spa manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, playing with life, playing with being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence, all these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, raising your frequency, not work.
Now let's understand who is Paramashiva. Bhagavan himself has beautifully explained the Paramashiva in all of us.
Paramashiva does manifestation, maintenance, rejuvenation, pulling out of delusion and liberation. He resides in his supreme Paramashiva Swarupa as Ajomuha or Adhomuha, unborn, beyond form, formlessness. His Paramashiva Swarupa. That Paramashiva Swarupa manifests with these 5 faces as Sadashiva, Tatpurusha, Vamadeva, Ahora, Satyojata, Ishana. 5 faces he manifests and does the Panchakritya, Srishti, manifestation, Sthiti, sustenance, Samhara, rejuvenation, Trobhava, pulling out of delusion, Anugraha, liberation. Understand? He does all these 5 jobs. Through these 5 phases. Now listen carefully. Tatpurusham, Vamadevam, Satyojatam, Ahoram, Ishanam. These 5 phases does Panchakrityas. Each phase, each dimension is not just one F-A-C-E phase, P-H-A-S-E phase. It's not just F-A-C-E, P-H-A-S-E. Understand? The creation, not just creation getting created, even sustenance need to be created, destruction need to be created, and pulling out of delusion need to be created, liberation need to be created. Then creation, manifestation need to be maintained. Maintenance, sthiti itself need to be maintained. Destruction, samhara, the rejuvenation need to be sustained, maintained when it is happening. Pulling out of delusion, trobhava, need to be maintained when it is happening. And anugraha, liberation, need to be maintained when it is happening. Those micromilliseconds when it is happening. So understand, Satyojata Murti as 5 phase, Ishana Murti as 5 phase, Vamadeva Murti as 5 phase, Agora Murti has 5 phase, Tatpurusha Murti has 5 phase. So, Tatpurusha Murti has his 5 phase. Agora Murti has his 5 phase. Vamadeva Murti has his 5 face. Satyojata Murti has his 5 face. Ishana Murti has his 5 face. All these 5 Murtis, 5 faces put together is 25 faces of Mahasadashiva.
Bhagavan beautifully explained Paramashiva. Now, who is His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is a reviver of Kailasha, the ancient enlightenment civilization, the great cosmic borderless nation. Is an avatar from and is a supreme pontiff of Hinduism. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has made science of our manifestation, yoga, temple-based university for humanity, Sovereign Order of Kailasha, led by His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, and Nithyananda Order of monks, nuns, Hindu diasporas, are working for global peace to give superconscious breakthrough to humanity. Nithyananda Hindu University, world's largest with extended campus in 150 countries, is collecting, organizing, preserving, time-capsuling, decoding, spreading and reviving 20 million source books of Hinduism and 64 sacred arts, science like Ayurveda, music, dance, sculpting, astrology, Vastu, and many more. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Shamala Pita Sarvanya Pita, ancient apex body of Hinduism and present emperor of Surya Vamsa Surangi Swamrajyam. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has survived the worst persecution of multiple assassination attempts on person and character by anti-Hindu elements. Beautifully, Bhagavan now explains who is His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam.
Everything is infinitely powerful. You realize your potentiality. You establish yourself in the completion, space of completion. You are God, that's all. All of us are gods. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body. Both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. Sangha is a place where the tattvas are taught to you, and till it becomes satya, you are supported. Akhadas are basically founded by Sadashiva himself. All is ganas, Shiva ganas. Exactly the word gana means. In your length, breadth, depth, if you are filled by Shiva, you are Shiva Gana. All the Shiva Ganas formed the first Akhada. Later on, much later, Kapila Muni organizes Mahanirvani Akhada. Then all other Akhadas. Mahamandaleshwar of Mahanirvani Akhada, the oldest apex body of Hinduism, I welcome every one of you. What I am teaching is from original Agamas Yogapada the science very clearly declares, Sadashiva is very clear, manifestation of these powers happen when you experience oneness with Sadashiva. When you choose your guru, the best thing is find a person who is enlightened, experienced, who can play with energy, who can directly transmit experience to you, and who is in tune with the original Shastras, the source of the knowledge. All the revealed scriptures available about the yoga directly by Sadashiva for you to do research, study, practice, question the people who teach.
The science of power manifestation is a gift to the humanity which is authentic, time-tested, scientific and foolproof. Diksha, or the initiation from His Divine Holiness Nithyananda Paramashiva, makes the science directly an experience for the initiates. The experience is directly authenticated by the Pramanas. The Shastra Pramanas, the eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Veda and Agamas. The Apta Pramanas, the experience of the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nayanamars, Alvars and Siddhars, who are the authority of Hinduism, who have scientists who time-tested and verified the science of power manifestation. The Atma Pramanas are the avatar who land on the planet Earth to give a superconscious breakthrough to humanity. His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashiva, this millennium's avatar, personal experience of power manifestation. Shakshi Pramanas, or the experience of the millions of disciples, devotees and followers initiated into the science of power manifestation by Bhagavan himself. Pratyaksha Pramanas, or the scientific studies which can be measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Powerful cognition from Bhagavad Gita satsangs. Let's listen to Bhagavan's satsangs.
He was not in the stotra mood. Now Krishna has to create the Shastra to bring him to the stotra mood. If Arjuna was in the stotra mood, just these two sloka would have become sutra, technology to transform the life of Arjuna. Straight away he is addressing the problem. The whole problem is just worry, fear. That's all. Worry because of fear. Depression because of fear. All our depression is rooted in anxiety, rooted in fear. A small story. One presidential candidate is addressing press conference. He says, I am very optimistic about my future. Journalist asks, then why do you look so worried? The candidate says, my optimism is not warranted. I am just worried. My optimism is not warranted. You are continuously expecting your optimism to be warranted. When you don't get the warranty for your optimism, you start worrying. All your depression, all your worry, all your anxiety is nothing but deep fear about life. Fear of life, fear of losing something. There are many levels of fear. Fear of losing the wealth, fear of losing some parts of your body, fear of losing the near and dear ones, fear of unknown means death. Here Arjuna is facing all the four fears. All the four fears Arjuna is facing. You can classify all your fears just in this four category. Fear of
losing your wealth, fear of losing some parts of your body in accident or some other way, fear of losing your near and dear ones, or fear of the unknown, fear of death. Here Arjuna is facing all the four fears. He has got the fear, he may lose whatever he has. Next, he has got the fear, he may lose some part of his body in war. Third, main fear, he may lose his near and dear ones. Fourth, he may lose his very life. There is a possibility of death. He is facing all the four fears. Because of these fears, the worry has started. Here, Krishna is straight away addressing the worry and fear. If Arjuna is in the stotra mood means completely with his whole being, if he has understood Krishna is nothing but God, Purnavatara, this two sloka is enough. It doesn't need any more instruction. It doesn't need any other words. You would have just simply followed. But unfortunately, I can say in a way fortunately, otherwise we wouldn't have had Gita. Gita. Fortunately or unfortunately, Arjuna was not in the mood of stotra. So these two words have become Shastra. Now the Shastra starts. If he was in the mood which he gets after the Vishwarupa Darshana, 11th chapter, he comes to the mood of surrender and he says, Krishna, now I understand you are not a normal human being. Krishna, I am not surprised why all the devatas are worshipping you. You are beyond everything. You are beyond my imagination. He surrenders. I surrender myself unto you. Then again, Krishna says the same word. Immediately Arjuna starts the war. Gita ends. The same word, when it is repeated, when Arjuna is in the stotra mood, it has become sutra, technique for Arjuna. Now because he is not in the stotra mood, it has just become plain Shastra. Plain Shastra. Just an advice. Now he starts the Shastra. Krishna is not a philosopher. And I tell you, all philosophy is just trying to convince the other person to do what the philosopher wants to do. It is nothing but convincing. Maybe slowly. Maybe slowly. But all philosophy is nothing but trying to convince the other person what the philosopher wants to do. There's a beautiful saying from Adolf Hitler. In his autobiography he says, if you repeat a lie 100 times, it will become truth. Even if it is a lie, continuously if you repeat 100 times, it will become truth. And even if it is a truth, when you express it first time, people will think it is a lie. Lie told 100 times will become truth. Truth expressed for the first time will be considered as a lie. Whether it is lie or truth does not depend on the fact. It depends on how many times you repeat it. That's all. All philosophy, what the philosopher wants to do, including the philosophies like communism, whatever philosophy you say, not only the philosophies related to religion, the philosophies related to politics also is same. They invent logical reasons why you should follow their words. That's all. Why you should follow their words. That's all. But here, Krishna is not a philosopher. He never creates any philosophy. First of all, he doesn't want to create philosophy. He straight away tries to give the conclusion to the Arjuna. Because Arjuna is not in the mood of receiving it. Because Arjuna is not matured enough to digest it. He has to give the experience to Arjuna. There is a beautiful story in Upanishad. A disciple goes to a master and asks, Master, teach me the Atmajnana. Master says, that art thou, Tattvamasi, you are God. But the disciple is not able to believe. He is not able to believe. He is not able to understand. How can I become God? How can I be God? Still I am afraid of my wife. How can I be God? I have all the problems. How can I be God? He has got 1,000 questions. Then Master proves his divinity. He proves he is God. When Master proves he is God, the disciple is able to trust the Master's words. Then Master says, now do you trust? You are God. Look into yourself. Masters have to prove that they are God to make you understand you are God. Here Krishna is proving his greatness. Again and again he is telling, I am this, I am this. He says, among the rishis, I am the Narada. Among the month, I am Margasirsha. He explains all his glory. And he says, all the devatas are just at my feet. All the Vedas are at my feet. The whole world is in me. He says all these big statements. A normal person, if he listens to all these things, he will think Krishna is egoistic. God save, that time there was no psychiatric doctors. Otherwise they would have admitted Krishna in hospital. They would have taken him for some treatment. You don't know what is happening. Krishna again and again says, I am divine.
Bhagavan gave how difference between how we exist as human and how we are God. When we don't listen, it is just an advice, but in listening, it becomes a cognition shift. With that, let's move to the Shastra Pramana.
Is taken from the Shiva Sutra, Sutra 19. Shakti Sandhane Sharirotpatihi. Shakti Sandhane Sharirotpatihi.
Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.19. Bhagavan Paramashiva says, by aiming and fixing the self on Shakti, uniting in oneness the supreme power, the embodiment of that which is cognized and willed, manifest at once its length, breadth, depth, time and space dimension. So beautifully, Krishna is telling us how he is God. All the masters start first with saying how they are God. We only replicate things we already know. We do not do anything on our own. So when we decide to listen, we first look for who to listen. First, it is our parents, and then our teachers, then the society. Here, Bhagavan himself comes down as our Guru and gives us the clarity that here we are taking the human birth only to experience the divine and manifest the divine and celebrate the divine. And forgetting that, we fall into depression and more confusion and more mess up. He gives a beautiful story of how Arjuna and Krishna Arjuna is going on rambling, and Krishna is waiting for his rambling to settle down and to bring him to the listening. After he starts listening, he starts telling him how the glory of Krishna. But because he is not in the listening space, he is not giving heed to all these things. He is continuing with what he is doing. Constantly, we are in confusion. When we are in confusion, there is no listening of us because we are binding ourselves with the confusion of words and what is happening in our perception. Not ready to look in that we are Paramashiva, how can confusion even exist in our space? When we are Paramashiva and he is manifesting through us, where is the confusion even exist? If the projector is not even on, how will the movie happen on the screen? Because there is projector, there is a movie. Bhagavan beautifully says, we will go for a shopping. If there is all the Rama deity in gold, we will buy Rama, Sita. The person who is looking for a smaller, he might buy Hanuman. But if you have Ravana, nobody would buy it. But the thief, he would not see it as Rama or Krishna or Hanuman or anyone, but he will see only as gold. If you give him the Ravana, he'll be so happy. And he is because not seeing the deity as the gold as an object, but as he is going to see it only as the source. A person who's living in the source and continuing to experience the source will not look at the what it is made of, how it is made of, how the ornaments are put, anything. Bhagavan beautifully says, when you look at the furniture, you don't look at the wood. When you look at the wood, you forget the furniture. When you look at the ornament, you forget the gold. When you look at the gold, you forget the ornament. When we go to the source, only then the listening even happens. Then only we are in finding out what we need for ourselves. Till then, we are continuing to look at only the outer world of the existence and thinking that is true. Bhagavan here beautifully says, look at the source. I am the source and so are you. I am the Brahman and so are you. I am Paramashiva and you are Paramashiva. We exist as a Paramashiva, manifesting as reality. This is how we exist as human, as divine beings. The superconscious being manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva. With such a powerful cognition, let's go into the Atma Pramana. Father-in-law in the Surya Siddhanta, the chapter where he gives the trigonometry and all the mathematical phenomena, in chapter 3, verse 21, 20, 22. 2 million-year-old book. Surya Siddhanta, the Lord Surya reveals to King Maya the origin and the root of trigonometry, standard notation, the decimal system, gravity, high advanced mathematical formulas, astronomical detail millions of years before the Western mathematical evolved. Let's go to Atma Pramana. A hermit came and could download information about the birth of him who was same mankind from the torment of rebirth. In his thirst for the true law, he came to the palace of King Sudodhana and gravely approached the women quarters. His years of his learning lent him great dignity. The king showed him the courtesies that custom prescribed and addressed him in the seemingly manner. On seeing the baby Gautama, tears welled up his eyes. He told the king that the child is born for a great purpose. He will remove the suffering of mankind. He told the king that he is no old and will not be able to be there to witness the great happening. Such a beautiful sages gave the high level of thought currents for the kingdom to function. Such beautiful Apta Pramana and the Atma Pramana
Your biomemory can be programmed to the highest possibility. Your muscle memory and biomemory can be raised and programmed to highest possibility. Please listen, not for any pride or anything. I am telling you the exact incident happened yesterday, one small incident. Suddenly I asked my Swamis who are helping me, assisting me. I told them to get a set of books from Lonavala Yoga Institute. I told them, please get those books. And I also wanted to acknowledge their great contribution to yoga, pranayama, and the science of Hatha Yoga. Lonavala Yoga Institute for amazing contribution and authentic translation they are providing to the whole world about all these yogic scriptures. I wanted to give my acknowledgement, gratitude, respect for their contribution to this field of yoga, pranayama, Hatha Yoga. So I told the Swami to bring that book. We have, I think, some 25 books, or I don't know the number of books. We have a large collection, and they brought the whole thing and kept. As usual, I was taking each book and scanning. This is a new set of books arrived very recently. The publisher himself signed in every book with a message for me saying, please accept this, and I was enjoying that and just going through all the books, and maybe in 1 hour I kept all the books this side. Means completed. Suddenly that Swami came and said, Swamiji, I have seen only in the movie. The person was quoting a recent movie where a robo will pick up a book and just wave in front of its eyes, throw, and Swami was quoting that and saying, what is this, Swamiji? I saw you picking up and doing this and throwing. I smiled and said, what do you mean? The person asked, what do you mean by putting the books this side? Means you finished or what? I said, what do you want to know in those books? Ask me, I'll tell you. Or you take any book and open any page and ask me to repeat what the page number. If you want, you test. The person said, enough. I don't want to test you anymore. I just said few things. about those few books. Pick up this book. This book is nothing but Mahadeva's teachings to Vamadeva. This book is the Mahadeva's teachings to Devi. So this is the process of Kumbhaka and Pranayama. The Swami was shocked. Please listen. I don't want to claim it is my unique power. Through this incident, the statement I want to send to all of you, the moral of the story is, this power is possible. It is a science when you complete with your ignorance, when you are tired of your ignorance, and complete with your ignorance, complete with your lifestyle of ignorance, this power is simply possible.
Shakshi Pramanas. Shakshi Pramana are the millions of disciple devotees around the world manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva initiated by Bhagavan, doing the demonstration and sharing their experience. Here we have the Nithyananda participant who is sharing a beautiful experience about the Balasans in manifesting power in the courtyard.
Not only was it Nandita, it was every balasant in our courtyard area where Swamiji was sitting. They were firing out these calculations that were square roots and pi and decimals. And I asked Nandita, what's the distance from the earth to the moon? And she got it exactly right.
Prataksha Pramana. Scientific studies. What can be measured? Measuring the effects of being in enlightenment state. Vedic sciences have always maintained that consciousness is the very substance of space and time. His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Paramahamsa Nithyananda, has clearly defined the existence of 11 dimensions of consciousness. As per his elucidation, space can exist by itself. On the other hand, time can exist only in the presence of space, but can still exist without other dimensions, including the obvious ones, depth, length, and breadth. Source from Avatar Shastra, Chapter 2, Consciousness, page 83. In quantum terms, thought too is energy. Every cell of our body produces thoughts in the form of signals, which may be electrical, chemical, or otherwise. These can be measured in TPS, or thoughts per second. The normal TPS of the average human being can be hundreds of or thousands. Some thoughts are processed consciously, while others are processed unconsciously. A TPS of 0 is the state of Advaita, or enlightenment. Space is made up of strings of potential energy, which are in constant vibration, spanda, leading to the creation of virtual particles. This is a very basis of the Vedic truth of consciousness. In the Avatar Shastra, Swamiji mentions quantum physicist Amit Goswami's article about entanglement between two people. Quantum physicist of Indian origin, Amit Goswami, made two people meditate together. They were separated in two chambers, one person in each. When one person had a light stroked at his eye, it caused the firing of certain frequency in the brain. Remarkably, at the same moment, the other person's brain also fired, even though he never saw the light. This proves that the energies of people intuitively affect each other.
There are two kinds of movement in the world. One kind of movement is maximum speed limit with the speed of light. That's the kind of movement that is allowed in the domain that we call space and time. That's where matter moves, that's where things look diverse. But the other kind of domain is where the speed of communication is infinite. We call it non-local. That's the domain of potentiality. And if there is instant connection in that domain, then do you see it got to be one? If things are instantly interconnected, that interconnectedness is oneness. That is the oneness that mystics and spiritual teachers talk about. That is the oneness. So simply by recognizing that objects are possibilities, we are looking at a oneness. And then it's just a question of language. Question of language. What should I call this oneness?
Manifesting power of astronomical information using the Paramashiva Shila in the length dimension, setting up the whole manifestation with camera, with timestamp, Jnana Anjana, Paramashiva Shila, which is a granite slab, and pen and a paper. Take few moments to set up your camera, download the timestamp app, click on the video, ensure the time is shown on the screen, the timestamp is vividly seen. Make sure the camera is facing you, the Paramashiva Shila, and the paper there where you're writing down. The place is very bright and clear and no noise is there. These are very special moments because of the Shaktis are getting manifested. Please make sure you don't miss the moment to record it on your camera. Guidelines to manifest the power. Turn on the video recording, apply the Jnana Anjana in your third eye, bring the awareness to your third eye, randomly ask the astronomical details as defined answer to compare, like dates, positions, happenings, keywords. Use Paramashiva Shila to manifest through the power of third eye. Write down all the details, and after you're done, you can compare the results which are matching exactly the astronomical details, like positions, dates, happenings. Then you're manifesting powers perfectly. If you're just getting a portion of it, you started manifesting. Start celebrating the whole space of manifestation. Simply, you'll get more and more of manifestation of the Shakti. Verify all the videos thoroughly, authentically, and share the video with the powerful cognition with others and listen to others' experience of our manifestation.
Power manifestation instructions. Let's sit straight, the head, neck, and back in a straight line so that beautifully the Kundalini energy raises to the Agnya where the manifestation happens. Usually our awareness is on Muladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipuraha, where navel center, your below navel center. Here, bringing the awareness to your third eye and sitting straight will give us amazing possibility of power manifestation. Now let's understand few words that Bhagavan is repeatedly using. Shakti Pada, oneness, be unclutched, initiation. So here first we will see in Bhagavan's words what is Shakti Pada.
Let me give an introduction about what is Shaktipada process. Please understand. You would have seen or heard about how the chicken sits on the egg and hatches. Of course, in the modern countries, this does not happen. Machine sits on the egg and or egg sits on the machine. In those days, originally when hens and chicken were getting produced on the planet Earth, the hen used to sit on the chicken and hen used to sit on the egg and the chicken will come out of the egg. See, same way, Sadashiva sitting means the ultimate cosmic energy sitting on the individual soul and making the individual soul into cosmic energy is Shaktipada. Hen sitting on the egg and making the chicken happen, same way. You may think, how come, what is going on here? That hen is only sitting just by the body heat of the hen and the egg is becoming chicken. Because no surgery is done and nothing goes inside. It's only sitting. Same way, it is just sitting. It's only the presence, the Shaktipada, makes the individual soul into cosmic soul.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained Shaktipada, how individual soul becomes cosmic soul. And let's listen to initiation.
See, let me explain the initiation. Initiation is the process beyond your intellectual understanding. The transmission of lamp happens. Now, you understood something intellectually. There is something which is not understood, which can't be transmitted through the words. That is transmitted. That's what we call initiation. Sometimes I tell people that unless you are initiated, the techniques do not create the result. The reason is you do not grasp completely whatever is expressed through words. Initiation is like it just transmits whatever need to be transmitted beyond logic and beyond words. People ask me why to wear this bracelet or this mala and all those things. This all will remind you. Why bracelet in the hand? It will remind you before eating, did you meditate? It's a constant reminder. Before eating, let you be reminded, did you do the meditation? That is why this bracelet. That is why this mala. That is why this external things. Sometimes these external things does a big job of reminding you constantly. That is why take the help of external things also, nothing wrong. People ask me, why we can just be spiritual without having external things? If you can, really you are welcome. But I don't think anybody who speaks in that way is successful. I've never seen people becoming successful avoiding the external things, just having internal things. And it is just nice way of escaping from yourself.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained initiation. Let's listen to be unclutched. What is to be unclutched?
The thoughts, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Because the gap between two thoughts is too small. The neutral space between the two thoughts is too small. You think all the thoughts are connected and it is in the shape form. It is not. By your very nature, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Within every thought, you experience a neutral space. When you change the gear, whether you go from neutral to 1 or 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 or 4 to whatever gears may change, but every time you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to the next gear. Even if you want to go from 2 to 3, you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to 3. Same way, between every thought, you experience a neutral space. You experience a neutral space between every thought. Between every thought. That neutral space, that silence is what I call peace or bliss. The peace which exists, the bliss which exists already in you, between every thought, the gap of the thought, the gap between the thoughts, that neutral space is the peace, is the bliss. When you understand you are unconnected, independent, illogical, and untouched by your very nature, you will start experiencing the neutral space in you, neutral space which exists in you. You will start living from moment to moment in spontaneity. We need to understand one more thing. This technique of being unclutched, it does miracles in your being, in the body level, or in the mental level, or in the being level. In every level, when you understand the truth, by your very nature, you are unclutched. The tremendous quantum transformation. You take a quantum jump, the transformation happens in quantum, not step by step. Just one jump. You take a quantum jump and experience the truth awakening in you.
The oneness space is the most beautiful space that Bhagavan himself is explaining how we are ferocious. Beyond the tiredness and boredom, we can experience the space of oneness and be unclutched.
Oneness is not imagination. Oneness is not visualization. Oneness is not even just declaration. It is your existence. An idea which is you is oneness. The idea which has become part of your very space, which does not tire you or bore you by the passage of the time, is oneness. Mahadeva says in the Agama, Sadashiva beautifully explains in the Agama, Kala, Yama cannot tire you or bring boredom to you if something becomes your space. Devi achieved the blissful state and union with Mahadeva on Shivaratri day because her space became oneness. Anything which brings tiredness or boredom has not yet become your space. If living in this body brings you tiredness and boredom, you are not going to be living in this body forever. When that becomes too much, you are going to drop it and move ahead. If you want to be in oneness forever, it should become part of your space, means you should become ferocious with you and break this very tiredness and boredom. Only when you deal you with the ferociousness, you break the tiredness and boredom. With that ferociousness, you need to make oneness as your space. Anything stands as an imagination in the length level, visualization in the breadth level, declaration in the depth level. If you open your time with ferociousness, it just sinks into space level. With this ferociousness, the time layer in you opens, and the oneness from imagination to visualization to declaration, it becomes your space, the way of existence.
The most important, Bhagavan says, being unclutched, understanding the Shaktipada, the oneness space, and chanting the Mahavakya. The Mahavakya, the power of the Mahavakya pushes you into the higher states of consciousness. Here Bhagavan himself explains how we can experience the Shaktipada, raised higher consciousness, through Mahavakya.
It's one of the very important revelation by Sadashiva. All the electronic equipments work when the electrons are made to vibrate. That happens by the light. When the electricity is supplied, the light particle vibrates, the electronic equipment starts working. Just like that, the spiritual power and the umbilical cord connection, spiritual umbilical cord connection between you and me, it works with sound particle. For example, my integrity with the cosmos, Sadashiva, Mahasadashiva, it reverberates in certain level of frequency. When you are integrated to me, you also start reverberating in the same frequency. If your integrity goes down, that is when you start connecting with me only as a manager or this organization head or your Purvashram father, mother. Your connection with me goes down to the lower level if the integrity gets reduced. I was wondering what is the way we can bring people to the higher integrity immediately and the feeling connection, so they start manifesting the powers. They start staying in the space of Sadashivatva. Sadashiva revealed a beautiful sound. I can tell you, this is like a password. At any point, if you are not able to bring yourself to oneness, you are a little shaken, disturbed, or for some reason, you are not able to bring yourself to oneness. This is like a password. You type, whether your mind feels connected or not, the energy will start flowing in you beyond the depth dimension. You see, all mind oscillation, restlessness, all mental idea based feeling connected or not feeling connected is only length, breadth, depth level, not in the space level. But this sound will straight infuse energy from the space level. Like for example, if the power goes off, automatically the generator will get switched on and the power supply will be going on. So end result will not be lost. Whether government power supply or the generator power supply, end result will not be stopped. So whenever you feel little that oneness is, you are not catching it, just feed this password. Immediately the oneness will open up and you will start manifesting the powers, energy, and the whole space will shift. It is directly from Sadashiva. It's a beautiful sound. I don't even want to say it's a mantra. It is not even a mantra because there is no meaning in it. You can't derive a meaning for it. It just flashed like a password for all the initiations I am giving. One single password for all the initiations I am giving. And the initiations I gave, I am giving, I will be giving for all that. This is like one password. Don't even repeat like a mantra. Just feed like a password and it will just open up. Your whole being will open up. Listen carefully. It starts with the vibration Om. Listen and then repeat. Om. Very deep. Om. Nithyananda. Nithyananda. Maha Sadashivoham.
So Bhagavan gave beautiful explanation of how you can be in Shaktipada. Visualize Paramashiva who has come down as Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam from Kailasha. Remembering Paramashiva in your third eye, again and again, bringing your awareness to your third eye simply makes you manifest powers. Absolute unclutching. How Bhagavan said, the neutral zone, nothing ever touches the screen. Like same way, the movie does not touch the screen, whether it is happening in ferocious or any soft, beautiful, nothing touches the screen. Be unclutched like the screen. And to experience the state of Paramashiva, your inner space being completely unclutched. Complete completion to experience the space of Paramashiva. Inside us, the complete completion happens when we are in tune with Paramashiva. That everything is redundant and irrelevant. The essence of completion is irrelevant. Nothing matters in your life because everything is complete completion. Oneness with Paramashiva. How Bhagavan said, in ferocious breaking the boredom and tiredness, just being in the space of oneness with Paramashiva to manifest the powers of Paramashiva. Tyaga as Paramashiva is your only strength, now declaring complete integrity with Bhagavan to experience the being of Paramashiva. How Bhagavan said, chanting the Mahavakya raises your frequency and that is your only strength to manifest any reality. Being in this beautiful space of Paramashiva, you can experience such a beautiful space, state, powers, and becoming the being of Paramashiva, manifesting whatever you want. Now, you'll be manifesting the powers, watching the oneness capsule, and chanting the Mahavakya, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. We'll be playing the Mahavakya and the oneness capsule for you to manifest powers. At end of the Mahavakya, you can start with the verification and sharing and causing. Thank you.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Paramashivoham, 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 Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Paramashivoham, 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 Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Paramashiva Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eye. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. 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 Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivam.
Verifying process for manifesting astronomical detail using Paramashiva Shila. Verify no video editing is done on the Shakti Avishkarana video, or the video is not stopped or restarted during the process. Video has the timestamp and wide angle view. Do not tamper with the question by showing the method or giving some clues is prohibited. Do not prepare the questions or answers in front of them. If the answer is in metric system, you can convert it accordingly before verifying. Do not use any electronic device, Bluetooth, or books during the power manifestation. Give complex astronomical questions so that we know it's a manifestation of powers and not the simple ones. Authentically, the result should match the exactly by verifying by anyone, not interpret or misinterpret the results, and make sure you are manifesting the powers of Paramashiva. Thank you for manifesting this power today.
Beautiful. We are at the end of the power manifestation, but most important part of the power manifestation. Here, we are going to share all that you have manifested with the social media groups. Here we have Sri Kailasha Kotyar manifesting power groups. Thousands of people are part of that. And you can share there and you can post your powerful cognition and the videos. The link is tinyurl.com/power manifestation. It is at the left corner of the page. You can click on it and you can post your beautiful experience in the Power Manifestation group. Why sharing and causing is very important part of Power Manifestation. Bhagavan beautifully explains that sharing is pulling us out of delusion and causing is liberating us. We are the ones who need to start experiencing the higher states of reality, how we need to exist. Beautifully, Bhagavan explains when you are sharing with others the ultimate beautiful multidimensional logic, your brain rewires into the higher space of consciousness, the Turyatita state. Again and again, when you experience even a little bit, you share with the world, your experience becomes reality. Same thing when you cause others to come and get initiated for higher reality, you are caused into the higher purpose, the ultimate reality. Bhagavan says extreme causing, extreme power manifestation is extreme causing. So beautifully he explains how our strength is declared on Paramashiva. The power manifestation happens exactly in tune to that. And sharing with the world, continuously reiterating ourselves the experience that we had from the powerful cognition and manifesting the space of Paramashiva, the state of Paramashiva, the beings of Paramashiva, we become Paramashiva. Go on sharing and causing, which is the most important part of how you have experienced your reality. When you go to a temple, we pray and we see that beautiful experience happen in us, and then share with the world that how amazing the temple experience has manifested as your reality. Same way, when you manifest powers, when you share with the world, it becomes more and more the depth cognition of you, and you will be experiencing more powers. Even if you're manifested very small, it does not matter the quantity. Bhagavan says the quality is important. If it is authentic, please go ahead and share with the world. Do not doubt, have self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred come and block anything. Experience the ultimate in deep seeking and gratitude. Bhagavan manifest in you with a deep prayer, that asking Bhagavan to make this reality as your existential reality. With that, let's end with the Purna Mantra. Thanking Bhagavan for all these great experience. We have come to the end of the Power Manifestation course, and we end with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamadashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nithyananda Paramashiva Paduka Arpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you for participating in the Jnana Paddhati, Nithyananda Jnana Paddhati course. Please go ahead and select more power manifestation and every day experience the ultimate reality for yourself. Nithyananda.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham